Storm Tracker 2000 at 5, 6, and 10 on News 2.
December 13th, 2000.
A big call to make.
Florida to Bush, that's the presidency.
Their call was premature.
Secretary Cheney and I have carried the state of Florida.
Chad.
It is even more important that every vote is counted.
In the exercise of my discretion.
Manual recount is crazy.
A victory for the vice president.
The smallest possible heart attack.
I hereby declare Governor George W. Bush.
Pack them up and bring them up.
Safe harbor.
An appeal to the District Court of Appeal.
A manual recount.
We were discovering many votes.
You will postpone further counting.
Here they come.
And tonight, for the sake of our unity as a people and the strength of our democracy, I offer my concession.
Whether you voted for me or not, I will do my best to serve your interests, and I will work to earn your respect.
It's 36 days since Election Day, and tonight we finally have a president-elect.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
The late Adlai Stevenson, after his defeat at the hands of Dwight D. Eisenhower, summed up in one sentence the anguish and the reality of every political candidate who has lost a hard-fought election campaign. "I'm too old to cry," said Stevenson, "but it hurts too much to laugh." We have arrived finally at that long-deferred moment when tradition, good manners, and patriotism require of the loser that he concede what can no longer be denied, that he offer his hand and his support to the winner. Al Gore did that this evening with grace and eloquence. We'll hear much of what he said a little later. There was in Austin, Texas this evening a sign above the door leading into the chamber of the Texas House of Representatives. Among other things, it said, "The tone for tonight is respectful and dignified. Please be mindful that the entire nation is watching. Please refrain from chants and whistling. No signs of any kind are allowed." Tradition, good manners, and patriotism also impose their rules on the winner. And President-elect Bush was equally gracious and eloquent in accepting victory. In a few minutes, we'll hear much of what he said also. But we want to begin by looking at this entire day, on which, after all, Americans and the rest of the world adjusted for the first time to the fact that Election 2000 is finally over.
I really don't care to hear any more about it. I'm in favor of the Supreme Court's ruling. The Supreme Court is the highest court in our country, and I believe...
From Manhattan to Marina del Rey, Americans awoke to their morning coffee and news that a bitterly divided Supreme Court had ended the 36-day post-election battle for the White House.
The fat lady has finally sung.
The endless opera is over, but opinions on the decision were predictably split.
I think the ruling was fair. The Supreme Court did the right thing.
I think that the ruling, at the very least, was unfortunate because there are several thousand voters in Florida who still didn't get their vote counted.
Looks like Florida's election battle is about over.
In Tallahassee, in the media village that had sprung up around the state Supreme Court, journalists began to absorb the finality of the late-night ruling from Washington.
Now, it looks extremely remote at this time as to whether or not that recount will get back underway.
And as Floridians got the news, they reacted with the same division that produced the state's virtual tie.
George Bush is going to be the president.
Good. That's the best news I've heard in a month.
Bush won? Damn.
I still think the election was stolen. I mean, I'm a Floridian, and they did not count all the votes.
It would appear to me that Gore stole the election instead of Bush stealing it, because Bush has been the lead. He's won every court case, except maybe Florida Supreme Court.
Now, at this point, it would appear Al Gore has exhausted all of his options.
In Washington, weary relief and concern about long-term damage.
I think this has gone on long enough. It seems like it was a shame that the election's so close, but at this point, I think they have to just call it quits.
The country's divided enough, you know, and
it's going to continue being divided.
The reputation of the Supreme Court has taken a beating in this whole thing.
So it is all over 5 weeks after the...
Peut-être la fin du suspense.
Und sich dann der Republikaner Bush zum Sieger erklärt.
As Europe awakened to the Bush victory, President Clinton was in Belfast.
Actually, I haven't had a chance to read all the opinions yet.
ABC News correspondent John Cochran reports the president placed a consoling call to Al Gore.
Here in Northern Ireland, it was mid-afternoon when Bill Clinton got the word that his vice president was calling it quits. The president immediately called Gore for what aides would only describe as a very private conversation. One aide saying, look, there's been tension between the two men for a long time, but that was not reflected in this conversation. And one more thing, said the aide. Al Gore is not the only one who thinks he probably won Florida. Bill Clinton thinks he did too.
The president-elect was seen only coming and going from his office in Austin.
Will you address the nation this evening?
But Dick Cheney, in his first task as vice president-elect, went to Capitol Hill where, at their request, he met with Republican moderates.
As always, enjoy very much coming back to the Congress. We're moving forward on the transition. Things are going well.
There is obviously a very badly divided country, and that there is no mandate as such with an overwhelming majority of the people.
I think it's important that we try to work together in a bipartisan way to set the right tone and the right dynamic and getting off on the right foot in the new Congress.
And Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, speaking to high school students visiting the court, assured them that politics did not drive the majority ruling.
That whatever you do, don't try to apply the rules of the political world to this institution. They do not apply.
Everybody matters. Every vote counts. This land is my land.
But many Democrats, especially African-American leaders in the party, saw the ruling in starkly different terms.
The election was essentially taken and stolen. You must get your votes in the public booth, not the private chambers of judges who are your political allies.
In written statements, black lawmakers were using similarly harsh language. New York Congressman Charles Rangel. This court, which has often covered over racism with judicial language, this time could not find the words to hide the injustice of its ruling. And Congressman Jesse Jackson, Jr. In third world countries, when democratically cast votes are not counted, we usually refer to that as a coup d'etat.
They aimed at minorities, and that was their target.
In Jacksonville, where as many as 4,000 spoiled ballots in largely black precincts created charges of foul play, young black students were also feeling cheated.
It's a race thing. It has to be a race thing. If it's not, then what is it?
Many African Americans were pushing Vice President Gore to keep fighting to the end, but that fight has now ended. When we come back, Vice President Gore addresses the nation, and we'll hear from voters who supported him and those who did not.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Nortel Networks.
Faster, more reliable, more profitable. With Nortel Networks, the internet can be whatever you need it to be. No matter who you are or where you are. So tell us, what do you want the internet to be?
By now, over me.
You'll find 102 reasons to shop the Disney Store holiday sale. Store-wide values like toys for $12 and 25% off all holiday decorations.
A world television event. Imagine having to let one of your children die so the other can live. The story that transfixed the world. Primetime Thursday.
We get really dry skin.
Dry, itchy skin.
For dry, itchy skin, these non-medicated moisturizers all fall short of Gold Bond medicated body lotion. Triple Action Gold Bond moisturizes, protects, and stops itch. Gold Bond medicated body lotion. More than a moisturizer, it's medicated.
In football, power and speed make a winning combination. Same for pain relief. So most pro athletes demand the power and speed of Flexall. Flexall rushes relief straight to the pain to keep you going strong. Flexall, powerful full-speed relief for tough pain.
This Wednesday and Thursday at Sears, beat the weekend crowds and save. These quarter-carat diamond stud earrings are now at our lowest price ever, just $39.99. This Wednesday and Thursday only, so hurry. This is no time to fool around. Give the good life. Sears.
Storm Tracker 2000. Weather information you need from the people who know. Storm Tracker 2000. First, fast, accurate.
He needs to give the speech of his life. That's the cliche whenever a politician is at a key turning point. And tonight, that obviously was the situation facing Al Gore.
Good evening.
From a gym in Tallahassee, Florida, to downtown Washington, D.C., people tuned in for the speech some may have doubted would ever come.
Good evening. Just moments ago, I spoke with George W. Bush and congratulated him on becoming the 43rd President of the United States. And I promised him that I wouldn't call him back this time. I offered to meet with him as soon as possible so that we can start to heal the divisions of the campaign and the contest through which we've just passed. I say to President-elect Bush that what remains of partisan rancor must now be put aside, and may God bless his stewardship of this country. Neither he nor I anticipated this long and difficult road. Certainly neither of us wanted it to happen. Yet it came, and now it has ended. Resolved as it must be resolved through the honored institutions of our democracy. Now the U.S. Supreme Court has spoken. Let there be no doubt. While I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept the finality of this outcome, which will be ratified next Monday in the Electoral College. And tonight, for the sake of our unity as a people and the strength of our democracy, I offer my concession. I also accept my responsibility, which I will discharge unconditionally, to honor the new president-elect and do everything possible to help him bring Americans together in fulfillment of the great vision that our Declaration of Independence defines and that our Constitution affirms and defends. I know that many of my supporters are disappointed. I am too. But our disappointment must be overcome by our love of country. And I say to our fellow members of the world community, let no one see this contest as a sign of American weakness. The strength of American democracy is shown most clearly through the difficulties it can overcome. Some have expressed concern that the unusual nature of this election might hamper the next president in the conduct of his office. I do not believe it need be so. President-elect Bush inherits a nation whose citizens will be ready to assist him in the conduct of his large responsibilities. I personally will be at his disposal, and I call on all Americans. I particularly urge all who stood with us to unite behind our next president. This is America. Just as we fight hard when the stakes are high, we close ranks and come together when the contest is done. While we yet hold and do not yield our opposing beliefs, there is a higher duty than the one we owe to political party. This is America, and we put country before party. We will stand together behind our new president. As for what I'll do next, I don't know the answer to that one yet. Like many of you, I'm looking forward to spending the holidays with family and old friends. I know I'll spend time in Tennessee and mend some fences, literally and figuratively. As for the battle that ends tonight, I do believe, as my father once said, that no matter how hard the loss, defeat may serve as well as victory to shake the soul and let the glory out. So for me, this campaign ends as it began, with the love of Tipper and our family, with faith in God and in the country I have been so proud to serve, from Vietnam to the vice presidency. In the words of our great hymn, America, America, let us crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. And now, my friends, in a phrase I once addressed to others, it's time for me to go. Thank you, and good night, and God bless America.
It was over in just under 7 minutes. And as the vice president turned and walked into election history, White House staffers lined the way. People watching from a greater distance had this to say.
I was happy to see that he conceded with grace and a sense of humor.
He said he wanted to congratulate Governor Bush on becoming, not being elected. So he's hanging on a little bit.
I think that he did it at the right time. A lot of people think it was drawn out a little bit too long, but I think it was worthwhile for him to hang in there as long as he could.
It's easy to call for unity after all of this. It's easy to say that. And you look at what happened down there, and it's a very different story.
For the first time tonight, Governor Bush addressed the nation as president-elect. That part of the story when we come back.
Inside Prudential.com, there's so much you can do and learn. Hear what our stock market experts are saying. Learn all about IRAs and 401ks. Get an instant life insurance quote, or even find a new home. Prudential.com has all kinds of interactive tools to help you save, plan, and invest. It's so easy to use. And there's always something new happening, from insurance to real estate to investments. It's all right here at Prudential.com.
Which cleans better, the Braun Oral-B 3D or an ordinary toothbrush? The 3D pulsates deep between teeth so it efficiently removes plaque from even those hard-to-reach places. But an ordinary toothbrush, well, you know, the Braun Oral-B 3D, helping you have healthy teeth for life.
This Wednesday and Thursday at Sears, all DVD players are on sale at the lowest prices of the season. Like this Samsung DVD player for just $147. So hurry, this is no time to fool around. Give the good life. Sears.
You know it's the flu. He's aching, burning up, chilled to the bone.
Honey!
This flu season, give them what they're asking for.
Honey!
Give them Honey Flu. Only Honey Flu puts powerful flu fighters into a pouch with real natural honey to soothe flu miseries. Nobody else does that. Not Theraflu, not NyQuil, nobody. Thanks, honey. It's nice to be appreciated. Real honey, real relief. Honey Flu from Robitussin.
That new boss is from another planet.
Totally spaced out at that meeting.
Hey, what's that on your desk?
ABCnews.com. Ready when you are.
This time of year, we are flooded with calls asking for ideas on helping those less fortunate.
Now here's an easy and effective way you can help pass on the warmth of the season.
Just visit any of our Heritage 4 locations and drop off your used winter coats in our winter wrap-up donation boxes. Beeman volunteers will pick up your donations and transport them to Within Reach Ministries for distribution.
Celebrate the season.
Knowing your efforts will show just how much you care.
Nathan, what is taking you so long?
Just give me a second, would you, Mom?
Come on, hurry up.
I have a hair appointment at 2, and now he can't have children.
Nathan, make sure it's not too restrictive. Come on, let me see how my Snooky looks.
I look stupid.
You do look stupid.
Get a plan that's right for you, like Bell South Rollover, including unlimited local nights and weekends. We also feature Ericsson digital phones, now at your local Bell South Mobility store.
Tonight, for the first time, George W. Bush went before the cameras to speak to the nation, not as governor of Texas, but as the man who will soon lead the country.
Our country has been through a long and trying period, with the outcome of the presidential election not finalized for longer than any of us could ever imagine. Vice President Gore and I put our hearts and hopes into our campaigns. We both gave it our all. We shared similar emotions, so I understand how difficult this moment must be for Vice President Gore and his family. He has a distinguished record of service to our country as a congressman, a senator, and a vice president. This evening I received a gracious call from the Vice President. We agreed to meet early next week in Washington, and we agreed to do our best to heal our country after this hard-fought contest. After a difficult election, we must put politics behind us and work together to make the promise of America available for every one of our citizens. I'm optimistic that we can change the tone in Washington, D.C. I believe things happen for a reason, and I hope the long wait of the last 5 weeks will heighten a desire to move beyond the bitterness and partisanship of the recent past. Our nation must rise above a house divided. Americans share hopes and goals and values far more important than any political disagreements. Republicans want the best for our nation, and so do Democrats. Our votes may differ, but not our hopes. I know America wants reconciliation and unity. I know Americans want progress, and we must seize this moment and deliver. Together, guided by a spirit of common sense, common courtesy, and common goals, we can unite and inspire the American citizens. Together, we will address some of society's deepest problems, one person at a time, by encouraging and empowering the good hearts and good works of the American people. This is the essence of compassionate conservatism, and it will be a foundation of my administration. These priorities are not merely Republican concerns or Democratic concerns. They are American responsibilities. I was not elected to serve one party, but to serve one nation. The President of the United States is the President of every single American, of every race and every background. Whether you voted for me or not, I will do my best to serve your interests, and I will work to earn your respect. I will be guided by President Jefferson's sense of purpose, to stand for principle, to be reasonable in manner, and above all, to do great good for the cause of freedom and harmony. The presidency is more than an honor. It is more than an office. It is a charge to keep, and I will give it my all. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
Television analysts tend toward caution when dealing with the president-elect's first speech. Not so the general public. At a sports bar in Tallahassee, for example.
Probably didn't touch me like Gore's speech did. I thought Gore's speech was far more emotional. It seemed to come more from the heart, where Bush didn't seem to be real emotional about it. I felt like he was just trying to maybe get a point across.
I was just kind of glad to see this whole thing over and done with, and now we can move on and get back to whatever it was we were doing before the election.
Well, I was very impressed with Bush when he said that, you know, being a president is not only an office, but it's an honor, and that he has an obligation to us as an American people.
And similarly, here in Washington.
I think for the country's sake, over the past 5 weeks, people have been not knowing, you know, where we stand. And I think President-elect Bush coming on like that is what the country needs to hear.
And essentially that was a campaign speech he made, but he said the right words. You know, that this challenge is going to be really implementing a lot of those ideas about unity and working through diversity and not leaving anyone behind. That's his challenge, I think.
When we come back, we'll check in one more time with the correspondents who've been covering the Bush and Gore campaigns from the beginning.
You made it through another hectic day. Dinner's over, dishes are done. Finally, time to relax. What a time for really tough heartburn. Good thing there's something that's just as tough. Introducing Mylanta Nighttime Strength, the strongest antacid you can get. Made strong to work on even tough nighttime heartburn fast. So go ahead, relax, if you can. New Mylanta Nighttime Strength.
With shopping on your MSN homepage, you can search, shop, and compare for televisions, cell phones, video cameras, or whatever else you need.
Okay, let's play who wants to be a millionaire?
Millionaire on Tuesday, millionaire on Wednesday, millionaire on Thursday, millionaire on Sunday.
I have to do it all. What, when?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday.
4 nights a week, when? 4 nights a week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday.
It's embarrassing to have had past credit problems, and getting turned down at a dealership is even worse. But I called the Get a Yes Network, and the dealership pre-approved my car loan.
Call the Get a Yes Network using your touch-tone phone. This is a free call 24 hours a day. Call 1-800-GET-A-YES.
A year ago, my credit was wrecked. For the last 6 months, I've been making all my payments on time. The truck loan I got by calling the Get a Yes Network is helping take the final dents out of my credit.
If you've had your credit in a mess, call 1-800-GET-A-YES. That's 1-800-GET-A-YES.
Craving that one-of-a-kind taste of Long John Silver's? Now you can satisfy your cravings with our new seafood and more meal. Our famous golden fried fish, crispy battered shrimp, and one of our great new crab cakes. Tender, tasty crab, done that special Long John Silver's way. Served with a delicious new sauce with hush puppies, fries, and slaw. Our new seafood and more meal, now just $3.99. Come in now, because deals like this don't last long. Long John Silver's, you can't resist the cravings.
And joining me now live here in Washington, Terry Moran, who's been covering the vice president's campaign, and from Austin, Texas, Dean Reynolds, who's been covering the president-elect. Terry Moran, let me begin with you. You've been covering Al Gore, but you've been watching the other guy out of the corner of your eye, and I'd like you to begin tonight by giving your assessment of his speech.
Well, Ted, one thing that stood out was obviously the hallmark of Governor Bush's, now President-elect Bush's campaign, and that is this reach for bipartisanship. He called it the challenge of the moment to change the tone in Washington. There's no question that's what people want. But it also struck me that bipartisanship is more than just reaching out to politicians, but to their constituents as well. And I'm thinking in particular of African Americans. Towards the end of his speech, as we heard, Governor Bush talked about being the president of every American, regardless of race. But the fact remains that the vast majority of African Americans rejected his candidacy, and the agenda he outlined tonight does not seem to answer their concerns. And while he is going to have an administration, it's clear that will be diverse, with Colin Powell at Secretary of State and Condoleezza Rice as National Security Advisor. This is also the candidate who went to Bob Jones University and who didn't take a position on the flying of the Confederate flag. So when he talks about the bipartisanship, at least when it comes to reaching out to that core Democratic constituency, he's got his work cut out for him.
Dean, turnabout is fair play. Al Gore's speech tonight.
Well, Ted, you know, when you spend months watching a guy through the eyes of his opponent, as I have been watching Gore through Bush's eyes, a certain caricature grows up, you know, the beta male trying to be the alpha male, the inventor of the internet, the guy trapped in the earth tones and so forth. Boy, there was none of that tonight in the vice president's speech. It was elegant, it was gracious. It was none of the things that we'd been led to believe if you listen to Bush and certainly the crowds around Bush during the campaign. And there was a big surprise. You know, during the day, during the last couple of days, we expected to hear something like, I'm going to withdraw from the race. Perhaps I'm not going to concede, leaving a little wiggle room there for Gore. But in fact, he said, this is my concession. I think that caught the Bush people by surprise. There was self-deprecating humor. It's time for me to go. I'm not going to call the governor again. All of that, again, this is from Mr. Stiff, who, you know, was the caricature.
Dean, Dean, forgive
Yes.
me for interrupting, but it's time for all of us to go. I'm afraid we're out of time, but
Okay.
I thank you and Terry Moran. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
You can order a transcript or video cassette of this or any other Nightline broadcast by dialing 1-800-CALL-ABC.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Tomorrow, a court divided, a Congress divided, a country divided. After all that's happened, will George W. Bush be able to govern? Watch World News tonight.
Mary, Mother of Christ. Surprising details of a life that continues to inspire so much love. Beyond the Mystique. In Search of Mary, 2020 Friday.
Jeff Ray and Storm